All right, what another week for Sheffield Wednesday, beating Plymouth, losing to Leeds, and now they head to Ipswich Town. Let's get the views of our resident owls, Andrew and Matt. Matt and Andrew, how are you?
Well, mixed feelings. Win against Plymouth was good news. The defeat against Leeds wasn't so good, obviously.
All right, let's get the review first of all. Matt, can you very quickly review the Plymouth game for us? What were the highs? What were the lows?
Yeah, I mean, I thought against Plymouth we were a good side first half. I thought we were particularly strong. I thought we carried on the good run of form that we'd been on prior to that. Jan Poveda causing all sorts of problems again. Ike Ugbo. There was a really strange and bizarre decision sort of within that game for a disallowed goal early first half, which was Poveda, where I'll be honest, I sit on the halfway line. I was unsure from there. There is an angle from behind the goal which has been shown as a result, which shows that he is level, if not just an inch behind. Would have been nice to see him get off the mark. And then, second half came out, got the goal. Wasn't the tidiest of finishes that you'll ever see from Gassama, but they all count at this stage in time. And then, it was, again, similar to our previous ones, a bit more try-hard from Plymouth, I suppose, with the last 10 minutes and a little bit of kind of nerves and the edge of your seat type of stuff. But actually, ultimately, again, a nice and comfortable 1-0 win. Just on Plymouth, I think that obviously we shared a right battle with them at the back end of last season, and they are a much different side. And I know you have covered that obviously a lot on the pod this year and sort of the problems that are there. But I think it was startling to see it in person. As a Plymouth fan, I think I would be looking over my shoulder very nervously with the remaining games kind of left for them. But ultimately a nice evening down at Sheffield 6.
Yeah, it definitely sent the Plymouth Twitter into meltdown for 2 days, that game. Okay, heading into Friday night then. Now, of course, the world managed to watch this, including myself. So I thought Sheffield Wednesday did all right, Andrew, in the first half, but the sucker punch just before half-time meant you couldn't really recover.
Frustrating, because it was 4 minutes. It's supposed to be 4 minutes injury time, not 5. 4. I saw the figure 4 go up. And their goal went in when the 5th minute was going into play. So that was really, really annoying and frustrating. We could have been one ahead before then. A great save by their goalkeeper. How he saved it, I don't know, from Gassama. Could have put us one up. Could have been a different story there. If we'd have gone in 1-0 up at half-time there, different story altogether. We go in 1-0 down. Okay, then we're chasing the game a bit in the second half. They got the second goal, and then that was it. We could have pulled one back, of course. Smith had a shot which was going towards goal and went past their keeper, was cleared off the line. So we could have pulled one back. But in fairness, also Bede had to make a couple of very good saves. And their tails were up. They had the lead, their tails were up, and we just couldn't get back in it. But it's not the end of the day, end of the world, because it means 5 wins out of the last 7 games, which is 15 points out of a possible 21. It's still almost 2 points, over 2 points a game. That's what we're aiming for. Remember, I said to you, I want 2 points a game if we can do it. And that's what I'm aiming for, for the rest of the season. We've got 9 matches to go, and that sort of 2 points a game ratio will keep us up without a shadow of doubt.
Matt, Wednesday haven't scored against the top half side since the start of December. What gives you the confidence, do you think, then, that you can go to Portman Road and bag one in the net against a town side which are flying?
A leaky defence. I think for all of their good free-flowing attacking football that has gone forward, and there's been plenty of that this season, I kind of have them down and pegged as this season's Sunderland from last year in the Championship. Got up, got on a roll, played some brilliant football, had some absolute harum-scarum results sort of towards the end of it, where they pulled kind of things out of the fire last couple of minutes. But the thing that does give me hope, more so than, say, for argument's sake, on Friday night and Southampton and Leicester, is the fact that they do concede goals. They are very much a team, it's an old added cliche, but you score 1, we'll score 2. And under Danny Roll, we have been a lot better defensively, Huddersfield aside. We have looked a lot more sure. We made a lot of changes on Friday to that back 3-5, whatever way you want to look at it. We made a lot of changes to that. I think that was based on the personnel who we had available, players being in that, I suppose, that red zone in terms of kind of flirting with the prospect of injuries, and also with one eye on this game at Portman Road on Saturday on the horizon. I'll be honest, I do think we will score. down there. I think Poveda coming back into the side, we saw on Friday how much of a huge miss he was to us in the way we play. He not only creates opportunities himself, but he draws players in. He frees up space for our other creative players on the pitch, whether it be Bannon, whether it be Kasama, Masaba, whether it be Ike Ugbo. He just creates so much space. And that is a proposition that Ipswich will have to deal with on Saturday, and that does fill me with more confidence than it did do, say, for argument's sake, going into Friday night's game.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt's right about the leaky defence, Mark. Because look at Rotherham; they scored 3 goals down there, and they were very lucky not to get a draw there. So if Rotherham can get 3 there, so can we.
Okay.
Yes.
Michael Smith has got a great record in this fixture. He scored in both fixtures last season, but he's only scored 3 goals so far this season. What do you put that down to, Matt? I mean, obviously he's not been there every fixture, but how can someone so good last year be so average this?
He is what I would class as sort of that Darren Huckabee zone from many moons ago, in terms of too good for League One, not quite able to do it in the Championship. I think the honest answer is the style of football that we played at the start of the season didn't suit him. He is very much a confidence player, as Sheffield Wednesday fans saw last year. He got, over 20 goals last season for us and was a really prolific forward. But you did often come away from games last season thinking, not quite sure he's done enough today. If we look at last season down at Portman Road, there was, I think, arguably the biggest sliding doors moment in our season. We were 2-0 up. He had a one-on-one chance straight with the keeper and just rolled it under his foot, tucked it straight. It was just a mess, an absolute mess. I think where it's gone wrong for him this season is he's not quite mobile enough to play the style of football that Danny Roll would like to play. And that's not a disservice to him, because he is, when the ball does fall to him in the box and he is a confident player, he is a really good forward. And he's proved himself as a Sheffield Wednesday player. I think this season he's been in and out of the team. He's battled a couple of injuries, niggly sorts of things here and there. And I think ultimately when you have a player like Ike Ugbo, who has come in and made such an impact, Bailey Kadamartri, when Smith was out and we didn't have Ugbo, he came in and made a huge impact as well in the short space of time that he had in terms of like that run of first team games. I think it is always going to be difficult for him. There were a lot of rumours about him leaving the club in January, going to potentially Derby and linking up with Paul Smith. It must be a really difficult season for him, and I can imagine he's incredibly frustrated. But I can't say, sat at the start of the season, I'm not surprised by his goal tally this year. It's a lot more difficult a division to get goals by and score goals. He was also a penalty specialist last year. We are still yet to have a penalty this season at Sheffield Wednesday. And that is going to, I would imagine, continue on Saturday. It wouldn't surprise me if we went all season without one. Over a penalty, there is nobody I would want more.
Yeah, in fairness to Mike Smith, I'd say that his opportunities this season have been limited compared to how it was last season. He was playing regularly last season, really, for us, and scoring. This season, when he was playing earlier on the season, that's when the team was doing poorly anyway, so he wasn't getting much of a look in for the service sort of point of view. He had his one cracking game when he got the 2 goals that beat Rotherham. But since then, yeah, it's been few and far between, and he's been a shadow of the goal scorer he was last season, but is a higher league, as Matt says. So, but he's still there, and he's certainly very much part of the squad, and he'll be involved on Saturday, I'm sure.
Okay. All right, then. Very quickly, then, VAR discussions we've been having this week on the channel. Just lots of very dodgy refereeing decisions. You saw the one at Norwich against Middlesbrough last week as an example. Where do you both stand on bringing VAR into the Championship? Matt, would you want to see it or not?
No, thank you. It's a very simple answer. No. Yes, a referee and the standard of officiating, as I spoke about last week, and I'm sure will continue to be spoken about, is something that is up for debate. I quite like that. I quite like the fact that there are things that are up for debate. I am still very much a believer. I like stats, I like data, but I am still very much a believer that these decisions do tend to even themselves out over the course of a season. I can name a handful in the last couple of games. The Akinfenmewo one at Rotherham would have been allowed to have stood. The Jan Poveda one against Plymouth would have been allowed to have stood. It still doesn't change my mind on VAR. I am not a fan at Championship level, and I wouldn't want to see it brought in now.
Andrew?
Well, that's where Matt and I are going to disagree then, because obviously I personally think that the priority here is getting the right result at every situation, whether it be a goal scored, a penalty, whatever. But let's make it quicker. VAR, we don't need VAR. What we need is a monitor on the side. If there's any error of dispute at that situation, the referee can go straight to the monitor, have a look to confirm yes or no as to whether it was a penalty or whether it was a goal or not. Can see it there and then. Do it that way. Speed up the process. That's been the problem. The delays involved, and people don't know, yes, how long have they got to wait? Is it going to be given or isn't it going to be given? Let's speed up the process, but have the process there, have the facility there. If you don't have it there, you're relying on human error. And there is just too much human error going on, and there's too much at stake. I'm sorry, we can't let wrong decisions then spoil results which should have gone the other way around. I'm sorry, I'm not having it.
Okay.
I won't have it.
All right, let's get some predictions then. Thank you very much. Very passionate. Portman Road visit then for you both this weekend. Matt, you can go first on this one. All right then, Ipswich dodgy defence against Ugbo. What's going to happen?
1-1 is my prediction for this weekend. Don't get me wrong, I'm not thinking that we're all of a sudden going to turn into prime 2009 Barcelona and stick 7 past them. I think it'll be a 1-1 hard-fought draw between both sides. It just strikes me as the type of game that it's not really the result that either team need at this point in time and at this point in the season based on what both teams are going for. But I do feel that it will kind of play out in that particular way. I do think we have to score first, however, for that to play out. I think if Ipswich score first, we have proven time and again this season, yes, we have the capability to score goals, but correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've actually won a game from coming from behind. I would be surprised if it's anything more than a draw.
Okay. Andrew?
Yeah, Matt's made good points there. I agree with him, really, in as much as that. And I'll be taking a draw. I'd be happy to take the draw, at the end of the day, because especially after losing to Leeds, we don't want to lose again. I don't really want to lose a second time. No, it's not the end of the world again as long as we come back with wins. We've got Swansea at home, and we've got Middlesbrough and QPR away. So we've got to sort of fathom 4 games coming in advance, 3 away games and 1 home game. I'll take a win and three away draws quite happily. So 6 points from the 4 games. So a draw will be acceptable, but I'm still going to say 2-1 to Wednesday and hope I'm proved right.
Okay. All right. Well, cheers both for joining us. We will catch you both in 2 weeks' time, of course, as we return from the international fixture break. Enjoy the game and, yeah, good luck. Nice one.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers. Take care.